Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our exclusive channel member live stream. Awesome to be here. It's funny, it only comes once a month, but I'll tell you, it just seems like yesterday that we were here together talking about, well, whatever it is we talked about last month. So yeah, fantastic to be here. Tonight, of course, you guys voted about, well, we're going to talk about all-time highs, investing in that scenario. We're going to talk about DCA, and we're going to also talk about a reverse DCA. And that's going to be kind of cool. So I know a few people have said, what's a reverse DCA? So we're going to look at that. Think of dollar cost averaging, but going backwards. We're going to kind of be going into that. And I'm going to apply it to a few different things as well as we come along. So I think that's going to be fine. But first of all, hey, always good to see you guys. And I see we've already got people in the chat. Jonathan is in first, and am I late? No, you are not late. We're here. We're ready to do this. This is going to be a lot of fun. Enid is in the house with a hello, everyone. Ian is in the house talking about himself. He says, I. So, or maybe he's raising his hand to say, I'm here. We've also got, let's see, we're starting in 22 minutes. I just put this up. So every month, you guys get one of these for free because you're channel members. So when you go basically underneath where you've got the post a comment, there's a little thing that has like a dollar sign. So when you click on that and where you have like the super chats and everything, you'll see that you get one down below for free. So that you guys can use. And especially when we get really big, like someday when we have like, tons of people and I can't read every comment, you guys will want to be using those so that way there's no way your comment gets missed. But also the fact that your name is highlighted means I'm probably going to not miss you anyway. But, hey, still, it's kind of fun. It's, and it's free. So why not? Paul is in the house with a hi. Congratulations, Paul, on, on that little endeavor we've been talking about. So I don't know if it's public or not. So that's all I'm going to say. Kendall says, what I miss? Not a lot. We're just saying hellos. Pretty much just saying hellos completely. Paul says, reverse DCA like you have ARCB, BTC, ETF, sell some along the way to take profits, either put in your cash position or another stock in your portfolio. Right. And that's something we're definitely going to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit because it's funny. A reverse DCA, it's not just about taking profits. So you guys know the next video after the one I dropped today that you guys can see early, the next video is actually on, my God, my head just went completely blank here for a moment. The RRSP meltdown. So in a way, what you're doing in an RRSP meltdown is a form of reverse DCA. So we're going to look at a whole bunch of stuff like that as we go through the evening. And of course, we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about at the same time too. We're not married to the topic. And it's not that big of a topic, but it's definitely something that you guys have voted that you wanted to talk about. So Paul says, thanks. And Jonathan says, that little endeavor sounds scandalous. Maybe. Paul might be getting into politics. Maybe that's what it is. He's looking to run in the 2025 election. Could be. I don't know. This is how rumors start, right, Paul? This is how rumors start. By next week, Paul will be a politician, and people will be, asking him if he can make changes to the system. We'll just have to see how that goes. All right. I'm going to bring up a white screen. There we go. We have a white screen for this. So this is either a white screen or a close-up of a snowball. But no, it's probably the white screen. All right, let me get a marker here, and we're just gonna we're blue right now. Do we want to stay blue? Let's go purple. All right, so when you're looking at investing, so for example, when you're looking at a DCA, we'll start with a DCA first. So a dollar cost average. So the way a market will come is you'll have price movement like this. You may have a little bit down. It may come like this. It may go really far down. It may come like this. It may go a little sideways and not do a lot. You may have a big good day. It may retrace. all of this fun stuff. So you can kind of get an idea that, you kind of get this neat little, whoops, I have to kind of use a mouse. It'd be nice if I had a pencil for this. Maybe you have a really bad, you have a little bad there, and then it comes back up, up, over. It's almost never goes straight like this. But anyway, for our example, we're going to say that it does. So now I'm going to change colors. So what happens with a dollar cost average strategy is, you're sitting here, you're like, I don't know when to buy. Do I buy here? Do I buy here? Nobody, I mean, obviously you want to buy low, but it's really hard to hit that because, you could be saying, okay, well, I'm going to buy low, but, all of a sudden it's up here, and you may be sitting up here saying, okay, this is probably low. It's going to go up. And next thing you know, you buy up here and you're down here, and then you give into like FUD. So that fear, uncertainty, doubt, and you sell. So what a dollar cost averaging does is, oh, look at that. Oh, that moves. Oh, I did not know that moves. Oh, I got a lot more space. Okay, anyway, sorry. I get fascinated by really stupid things. So what you do is, let's say, for example, this is day one. So you're going to make a buy right here. And let's say day two is here, or week two. Let's say every week you're going to buy a stock of whatever this is. Week three, maybe down here. Week four, it might be right about there. Week five, it might be all the way up here. Maybe you've got your week 6 in here. You guys can see these, I hope. And let's say week 7, week 8, week 9. And then we'll put week 10, week 11 like this. Okay, so what's happening is, and I'm going to get another line here. Let's go with a red line. Is what you're doing is you're basically looking, if you take a line like this through, so that's kind of a straight line, and it's kind of like the average of all of these buys. So you're not buying. So even though you bought at an all-time high at that point, technically, because of the averaging, it's still like you bought along this one line. So what you're getting is you're getting the fair value. You're getting a very fair value of that stock when you're buying it. And that's kind of one of the reasons why it's better than timing the market, because you just don't know where the market's going to go. Today, just to give you guys an example, let's come over here. I'm going to go to a real live chart here. And I'm going to collapse it a little bit. So this is Bitcoin. So here is today. I mean, I was thinking coming into today, I was thinking, okay, well, we hit a little all-time high up in here. We've been kind of moving down a little bit. So we started the day around here. I actually thought we were going to go up. I did, but we didn't. And we had this big drop. So it's kind of that thing. You can never predict where that market is going to be. Now, let's say, for example, if I was sitting up here and I was planning, thinking, okay, I'm gonna sell something up here. Well, all of a sudden it's going to be down here, and I don't want to sell. But here's the thing. I bet you a lot of the newer people who have gotten into Bitcoin recently, I bet you when this was happening, a lot of them started panicking, and probably some of them probably did sell. Imagine if you sold down here and all of a sudden the market closes and woohoo, we got recovery happening. So you never know what's going to happen. But that's where, coming back to something like this, it's where you basically get that fair value. So, and that's fantastic. So that's kind of the whole idea of DCAing. And I'm pretty sure, I'll say, you guys all know this. You guys absolutely all know this. So that's kind of one of those nice things. Those of you who know Tim Danter from the Danter Banter and Crypto Night in Canada, he started a sort of a DCA challenge back on his channel when they used to do live streams to buy Bitcoin at, every week on the same time. Now, I would love to see his portfolio right now, because he's doing fantastic by doing it that way. So that's what happens. DCA takes the guessing out of it. So for most people, if you compare somebody who DCAs to somebody who tries to time the market, most of the time, DCAing actually will make you more money long term. It is very hard. Now, if you have some tools at your dispense, for example, if you're really good and you have a talent for technical analysis, you can sometimes sort of guess what's happening or figure that out that way. But all right, so now that's DCA. Let me see if I can, I can actually do, look, I can draw. There we go. So there's DCA. So now we have reverse DCA. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, let's talk a little bit about all-time highs. So when you are buying something, an asset, and it's at an all-time high, a lot of people are like, I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to wait for it to retrace. I'm going to wait for it to go back down. But here's the reality. Let me pull up. Actually, we won't use that. I'm going to actually bring up, let me do this here. Now I'm going to bring up TMX money here. So let's pick something. And I know that I've seen chat about CN, for example. So if we pull up CNR, here we go. Here's CNR and here's their chart. Let's actually we're going to go all the way out to 5 years. So when you're looking at a chart like this and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to wait for a retrace. Well, sure, you get a few of them right here. Well, this one here, this is not the type of retrace you're going to get a lot because that was the pandemic. But yeah, you will get these little retracements. But if you look at it overall, the price continues to grow and it gets bigger and bigger. And that's kind of one of these reliable things. You'll notice with CNR that you don't get some of the effects that we've been seeing with a lot of other companies. So for example, let's pick Bank of Nova Scotia, so BNS. We'll go to them and we'll look at their 10-year. Here we go. All right, now you'll see with their 10 years, you got things. Right here is that pandemic drop. But I mean, look at how long it took them to recover, up, a lot of down. And that's simply because when you're looking at CNR is recession proof. There's always going to be a demand to move materials. It's the cheapest way to actually, on the supply chain, it's cheaper to move by rail than it is to use trucks. So they always are going to have, they're always going to have a very strong customer base. So they're not going to fall very much. So when you're looking once again at CNR, and we'll go back to CNR here, and we'll go back to the 10-year, you always are going to be moving up. So even though you have an all-time high here, I'm sure you could wait and hope that this happens right here. When you're here, you don't know that this is about to happen, but you can wait, sure. And if you did, you'll look brilliant because look at this, it's down. But let's say, for example, you are right. Let's say you're right about here and you're thinking, okay, well, we're doing really well now. I'm going to wait. And you get a little bit of a fall and you're thinking, okay, it's going to fall further. Then all of a sudden, bang, up it goes. So it's kind of one of those things. So when you're looking at an all-time high, you shouldn't go like balls to the metal, I guess. You shouldn't go full in. That's where DCAing actually works. So let's say, for example, I had $10,000 and I wanted to put it into CNR, and I'm thinking, okay, we're up near the top. I feel like there's going to be a retracement. Well, I could always set it up that maybe for the next 10 weeks, I'll do 1,000 a week. And there's the 10,000 going into it. So then whatever happens, so let's say I did that here, I would have bought here, and then probably here, and then here, and then here, and then here, and here. But overall, I'm going to have a nice even amount. So I'm not going to overpay and I'm not going to underpay when you DCA. I'm going to get it fair, which is the good thing about it. Now, here's the thing. And Bitcoin, I think, is the best one to use for this. So when you look at something like Bitcoin and you're thinking, dear gosh, I want to, let's actually get out of the 1 hour. I'm going to go to a 1 month chart and I got to shrink everything down. That's the one downside that I have with this is that you do have to shrink things down a little bit. All right, so this is the 1 month chart of Bitcoin. So you can see it starts all the way back here. In what date is this? Is it not telling me the date? There it is. So this is 2011. And you can sort of see just by looking at it, you've got this whole, these here were the big ones in 2021. So those were those two big giant tops that we had in 2021 before we had the massive crash. So now when you look at it, you can sort of see we're now up here. We're way above those tops. So some people will think, okay, I want to start taking some profits here, but I don't want to get out of Bitcoin because I think it's still got a long way to go. So how can you do that? Well, one way that you can do that, and we're going to come back here, and I'm going to grab my eraser. There we go. Come on, give me the eraser. It's not giving. Oh, there it is. It just, it's invisible. All right, we'll just erase this here. Get rid of this old example. So with a reverse DCA, it's one of the methods that you can use to start taking profits. So the way we'll look at this here is, whoops. Well, that's weird. My mouse is now stuck. What the heck? That is very, very weird. All right, I will switch to a different mouse. I always have a backup mouse in case something happens. Huh. All right, all my mice are broken. This is fun. Oh, no, there we go. There we go. Ah, there we go. It's moving now. All right. One of those things, I got to say, I've been very lucky with lives. I haven't had a lot of really big technical issues that have happened. But in this case, this is kind of one of them. Oh, I can actually do text on here as well. So let's just say, for example, right now with Bitcoin, right now we're at, we're just over 70,000. So the next big zone is, let's say I'm thinking, okay, well, I got to start taking profits. So I'm going to look at maybe at 75,000, I'm going to look at taking some amount of profits. So with a reverse DCA, what you can do is you can say, okay, well, I'm going to look at different levels. So for example, that's 75,000. And let's say I'm going to start with maybe 1%. So at 1%, at 75,000, let's move this over a bit. I'm going to take 1% of my profit. Simple as that. So then you're thinking, okay, what am I going to do after that? So maybe at 77,500. So 77,500, you're thinking, okay, well, I think I'll take a little bit more there as it's going up. So you might say for in that instance, whoops, get rid of that. Oh, this is fun. Let's say you decide I'm going to take, I'll take 1.5% as, as you're moving up. And there's nothing wrong with doing, can I get this? Can I make these equal? No, I can't. Oh, maybe if I do that, I don't know. Anyway, it's just doing its own little thing. So then at that point, you might go, all right, at 80,000, I'll take 2%. And you can sort of build this up and keep on going up and up and up. And the beautiful thing about this is, oops, give me my percent. There we go. It's a good way to start sort of taking out those profits. And as I think it was Paul mentioned earlier, basically you can take those profits and put them on some other things that are coming back up. Or if you're, for example, if you are playing crypto, maybe what you're doing is you're taking that, you're doing this reverse DCA off of Bitcoin, and then you're moving it over onto altcoins. Because kind of the way that crypto, in the world of crypto, the way it generally goes is Bitcoin runs first, then the altcoins, and then last but not least are the meme coins. So you might be wanting to do that. You might be saying, okay, well, Bitcoin, is still going to do great. I don't want to take everything out. I'm just going to take a small percentage out and sort of work it up this way. And you can even stay at 1% every time, or you could be more aggressive. You could have, shorter distances between them and deciding how you're going to do it. Let's give me this back. But I mean, the general idea is that as it goes up, you're taking more money out. So you're just taking a little bit here, a little bit there. And it's like DCAing, but you're doing it in the exact opposite, which is great because it's a good way to funnel that money in. So you're funneling the money in. So for example, you might be going from, oh boy, why am I trying this? You might be going from Bitcoin to maybe you're going to Ethereum, because, especially if there's an Ethereum spot ETF on the horizon, that could be the next big one to really explode. So, or you could be going into Polkadot or Solana, or maybe you're thinking AI is going to be huge. So why not go into something like Render? Maybe Render's going to explode. So that's kind of the neat little thing with this, is that you're sort of pulling the money this way. Now, I did mention as well that this, I'm going to get rid of this here for the moment. I did mention as well that this is also something that you can use with your RRSP meltdown, because kind of what you're doing with that, the big goal in an RRS meltdown, and I'm sure most of you guys should hopefully know this, is that you don't want to be left with a giant, a giant sum in your RRSP when you die. Simple as that. You know, I don't want to be. It's time for coffee. I think. You don't want to be caught with your pants down and have to pay a big tax bill. Now, the way it works is if you pass and you do not have a spouse or a dependent sibling, that's the only way this doesn't happen. If you do not have a spouse and you do not have a dependent sibling, then you are taxed at your marginal rate. So let's say, for example, you had $1 million sitting in your RRSP when you die. Holy banana bread, almost not quite half, but very, very close to half of that is going to the government. So that's kind of that thing that you want to do. They're, for some reason, they're harsh. The government is really, really, really harsh on that. Now, with a TFSA, you can leave it to, well, you can leave it to a lot more people. So you don't have that issue of the government coming in. They call it when the government comes in because of that way. They normally call that probate. So you don't have that issue coming in those situations. And so a lot of times with, for example, the meltdown, with the actual RRSP meltdown, you're creating a strategy of your own. Now, there is a strategy when you convert your RRSP into a RIFF, it actually begins its own kind of a reverse DCA, because each year after you convert it to a RIF, there's a certain percentage that you have to take out. Now, the nice thing is about converting it to a RIF, though, is that when you have to pull that percentage out, there's no withholding tax on it. Whereas if you're pulling it out of straight up RRSP, there's a withholding tax. Even if you are not in a situation where you're going to pay taxes, you'll still have to pay that withholding tax, but you get it back, of course, when you do your taxes. So that's kind of the nice thing about that. But that's going to be kind of cool. All right. I'm just going to get caught up very quickly on chat here because I think Paul's been saying a whole bunch of things here. First of all, Jonathan, you heard it here first. Oh, yes, the rumor I started about Paul. Let's see. Paul says, maybe remove chat and move your video to the other side. Maybe. All right, with the thing that was happening with the mouse. And I bought some more ARC at 70.56. Yeah, absolutely. ARC average DCA, let's see, 62.32 Bitcoin price equals ARC price times 1,000. ATD 10-year straight line. Yeah, let's actually take a look. I haven't looked at that in a while. We'll bring this back onto the stage. And let's take a look here. ATD, I didn't think it was a straight line, but maybe it is. Maybe it is. Let's take a look here. ATD. Oh, right. It's a straight line, as in kind of a straight line going up. Very, very nice growth. This is one of the reasons I love Alimentation Couche-Tard. So definitely it's kind of good. And this is another good example here. Like, you know, chances are you're not going to be coming back down. So it's one of these situations where if you're waiting for a correction, you're just going to have these minor corrections. To be honest, DCAing is your best bet to go. But then again, even with a stock like this too, if you have 100% faith in that stock and the fundamentals are really, really good and you know it's going up, in a case like that, I wouldn't even DCA. If I've got $1,000, if I got $10,000 I wanted to drop on ATD and I'm down to here at this point on the curve, I'm just going to drop the whole thing. To be honest, there's no point. But if you don't have the greatest fundamentals and they're in a more volatile industry and they also have a high volatility, well, then in a case like that, maybe it does make sense to to not drop it all at once. So DCA, or if you really want to play your luck and time the market, you have that option as well. And Enid says technology is great when it works. Yeah. Well, I've never actually brought the whiteboard on. I think I did once, but yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't know. It might be that the other mouse is my Mac mouse. So right here, my little Mac mouse here. I think I might need a charge. So that might be the thing with it. So I have my Logitech mouse as well. That's my backup mouse for when my Mac mouse needs a charge. So that's probably what it was initially. Maybe, I don't know. I'll look into it after the stream. Jonathan says, do you only raise the percentage withdrawal if the value goes up? Well, you're not withdrawing. So if you're doing this strategy here, let me go back to the whiteboard. Oh, yeah, there we go. So if you're doing this strategy here, right, you're taking 1% at 75,000, right? If it goes down, well, you got your 1%. You're waiting. You're going to wait until it comes back up again, right? So when it comes back up to here, then you'll take your next percentage. And you don't have to increase it. I just increased it because that's kind of my thoughts are like, if I'm thinking about Bitcoin, I'm thinking, okay, well, what's its end game? So if I'm thinking Bitcoin is going to make it to, let's say I think Bitcoin will make it to 100K. So let's say if I'm thinking 100, wow, that's a perfect circle. It just took my circle and made it into a perfect. But anyway, if I think my end game is 100K and I think Bitcoin's going to get to 100K, I know there's going to probably be a big correction. So I might be doing this up to 100K. And then maybe at 100K, because that's a huge psychological level, maybe a lot of people sell and it drops all the way back down to, let's say it goes all the way down to 60K. Let's say it has a really big crash. And that's our next big crash. Because if we look over here, you can see after we hit some of these big levels, sometimes we can get some pretty serious crashes. I don't think we'll go back down there. Like you'll notice as well that the blue line here, don't know if I can show that any better. Let me see here. All right. I had extra controls on the other mouse so I could make it get bigger. But if you can see this little blue line here, this is kind of one of its main running averages. And it always stays above it. Like even when we have a big crash, it might wick below it, but it basically has been acting as a very big support. So here's the thing. This is constantly going up. So I don't think we'll ever go below it. Even if we had a huge crash like tomorrow, you'd be lucky if we could even get down to 25. And I've seen some analysts say that they don't think we're never going to break below 50K again. So that's going to be interesting to see. Like there's so much money that has poured into Bitcoin that it's kind of almost crazy. But here's that thing. So if I think it's going to break again, even if it were to break, let's just say to 50K, 50K is right about here. So if it broke all the way down here to 50K, I would love to have been selling up here and taking those profits. I would take the profits right back and throw it right back in, of course, at 50K, and then hope it comes. Then not hope, but then when it does eventually get back up again, rinse and repeat. Because that's kind of one of those things. Like right now, let's go back. I'll show you guys here. I'm going to go back to the 1 hour again. All right, this will be. All right, here we go. Yeah, there we go. So it's not as big as I'd like to see it, but so like around here today, here's what I was doing today. I was selling. I was selling. Now I'm actually swinging. I'll show you what I'm swinging. I'm swinging this here, the BTCBB. BTCC.B. So that there is one of the spot Bitcoin ETFs. That's the one I'm currently swing trading. So what I was doing, and I'll just go back here because you can just see it a little better. I sold everything I had up here. I probably bought right about here, rode back up a bit, sold, rode it down, bought it in, went up a little bit, sold. So I was basically just playing the jigsaw as I was coming down here. Now, luckily, this is the thing that I love here. I rode it down to here and it's getting close to close. So I got myself in. Let me take this line here. Let me make this line straight. I bought back in right about here. Just before the market closed. So, because this one here, I can't trade after hours. So now in the morning, I know I've now ridden this up. So I'm, even if we opened right here, I'm opening at a much higher position. So there's a good swing right there that I've done. So But that's the whole thing. Now, think of that, but think of it on a very long scale. And that's a lot of what's happening when you're taking profits when it comes to the market. Um, a lot of times you're taking profits, not to just take the profits and live off them. Like as I was mentioning before, you might be taking some of these profits up here at 100K, but you're taking them so that you can come back down here to like 60K. Whoops. And then that 60K, you're coming back to 100K, you're taking profits, or maybe it's 110, or maybe it's 120 at that point. And then you're taking it back down to, and this time it might even be 70. And so you end up having, oh, look, another perfect circle. Love it. Then you end up basically coming up and down, and it's kind of moving up because the market's always moving up over time. And that makes sense if you think about it. If you think about any stock, so let's say, let's just take Banana Co., my favorite fictional company. So let's say if Banana Co. stock is worth $10, a year from that, at the bare minimum, it should be worth $10 plus whatever the rate of inflation was for that year. So if it was a 2% inflation year, then it should be worth $10.20 by the end of that year. Or if it was at $100, $102 by the end of the year, just from inflation. And then, of course, it'll be worth more if, if the company does well, has good fundamentals, all of that fun stuff. So, it's just one of those neat little things. All right, let's pull this away for a moment. And that's kind of cool. I think what it does is if you make a shape and you're close enough, the whatever the algorithm is on whiteboard takes it and then makes it into a perfect one for you. Paul says, wait till the advisors tell their clients to buy BTC ETFs. That hasn't started yet. Not sure if they call that wirehouses. Yeah, there's still a lot of people who like. I watch a lot of news, so that's probably one of the things I watch more of than anything else. And there's been a lot of different people from within the crypto industry that's saying that we're getting calls, or some of the managers from some of these ETF funds, and we're getting calls from people saying we're just getting ready. We're getting ready. We're trying to get our ducks in a row so that we can start adding Bitcoin to our balance sheets, and we're going to probably do it through your ETFs. So there's still a lot of people coming. So it's kind of that whole thing, right? Right now, I gave you this sort of hypothetical situation where you're selling off a little bit going up, but I still think there's a larger runway. The 100K might even look like something pretty far in the rearview mirror when we get to the other side of what's happening. But I tend to like to be fairly realistic, and I think 10K is definitely 100% doable. A lot of people are talking about 200K. I think that's going to be a little bit more of a struggle to get there than what 100K will be. But I also think I know that 100K is one of these psychological levels. So because it's a psychological level, I know when we hit 100K, we will have a correction. I don't know how deep it will be, but it'll be that situation where I hope it happens while the market's open if I'm still playing this particular ETF, because I will sell everything at 100K and I will watch as we fall, and then maybe I'll buy it all back at, even if we only fall down to, let's say, 80K, I'll be ready because I'll be watching when the market turns around. I'll buy, even if I don't catch the very bottom. As long as I catch it on its way back up, I'm still in. And, in this here, it may not even be about money, because let's say, for example, let's say you own, let's just say you own, we'll say you own 1 Bitcoin. So if you own 1 Bitcoin, and let's say you bought it at 50K. So if you bought 1 Bitcoin at 50K, oh, I should bring this over. I'm drawing on the board and I didn't even bring this over. If you bought 1 Bitcoin at 50K, and then you do get up to 100K, well, you still only have 1 Bitcoin. So that hasn't changed. But let's say you sold your 1 Bitcoin at 100K. So there you go. There's your 1 Bitcoin. You sold it. And let's say it goes down to 80K. Well, at 80K, you can buy your 1 Bitcoin and you still have $20,000 left. So that's basically a fourth. So basically you've got, you basically can buy 1.25 Bitcoin. So all of a sudden, just by playing what's happening with the market, and this is what happens on these institutional levels too. They know that 100,000 is that level, and they know if they sell, like a lot of the institutional, some of the institutional and some of the hedge funds, they know if they sell at that 100K, they know that price is coming back down. And so they're taking that 1 Bitcoin, or maybe it's a million. Maybe they're taking 1 million Bitcoins and turning it into 1.25 Bitcoin, or, or 100,000 into 125,000 Bitcoin. But that's what they're doing. And that's how they make, they basically end up with more Bitcoin, because that's kind of the whole goal. Like, we all know Bitcoin's going up. We all know it's going to be worth a lot in the future. But what you're doing is instead of watching it continue to go up and buy that 1 Bitcoin at 80,000 and then at 100,000, pay a whole bunch more to get another quarter of a Bitcoin, let it fall down, sell it at the top, let it fall down, rebuy, you then have more. And then when it comes back up, you have more money. That just you magically, it's not that you magically create it. Like somebody somewhere, like everything you buy, like every time you buy a stock, there's somebody on the other end of it who's selling that stock. Or when you sell a stock, there's somebody on the other end buying. So all of the extra Bitcoin you're making, someone out there is losing Bitcoin. It's just, that's the reality of it. They're losing Bitcoin or they're losing money, but it works out. That's just the way the market works. Now, you can play it both ways. And this is the funny thing. The way I swing trade, as I mentioned, kind of with Bitcoin going down, I'm still making money because, when I sell something up here and then I buy it back here, well, if I buy the same amount, like let's say, for example, let's say I was playing with 2,000 shares. Whoops, there we go. And if I was playing with 2,000 shares, if I sell it up here and then I buy it back here, well, I'm still going to have my 2,000 shares, but I'm going to have leftover cash. Oh, ASH, there we go. I will have leftover cash from doing that. And that, to me, that's one way to do it. And of course, once the 2,000 gets back up, I still have the 2,000 shares, but I still also have that cash. So I can do a couple of things. One, where I'm doing this for income, I can take that cash and I can maybe go to a credit card, or something like that. Or I could, I could sell my 2,000 up here and come down here and buy maybe 2010, or maybe 2000. Oh, I got a perfect one again. Or maybe 2020, depending on the difference. And then I have more. When I get up there, I have more, and I can keep doing that. And, I could end up with a point where I could eventually have 4,000 maybe, depending on how well I do it. I could end up with 4,000 of that stock. But now, mind you, in this case, like I said, I will sometimes put a little bit more back in here, and I might raise that number a bit. But for the most part, I'm going to take that cash. That's going to pay for bills. That's going to pay for stuff. So that's just the way it works. And that's the funny thing. See, so for me, I don't care what the market's doing. If the market's going up, I'm playing it. I'm doing it the same. I'm doing the same thing. I'm playing all of the, playing all of the little, all of these little triangles. I'm playing them. But I make it's easier for me when the market's actually kind of going down a little bit. It's pretty easy as well. So it's kind of that neat little thing. And a lot of people, when they get into swing trading and that, they sort of think, well, I can play the market going up. What do I do when the market's going down? And it really boils down to the way you're going to take your profits. Some people take it in a different way. Like, I know some people are kind of like, well, okay, if I have X amount of dollars, so let's say if I have the $2,000 and I sell it up here for 2,100, okay, well, I'll just take that $100 and there you go. I still have my 2,000 that I started with. But then when they go to buy shares, if they want to get back into that, well, they only have 2,000 and it's now more expensive. So they can't buy the 2,000. So they might end up with, maybe they'll end up with 1975 shares. They still have the same money. I mean, yeah, that 100 they took is still profit. But they're now in a situation where this number is getting smaller. And when this here does crash, all of a sudden they can get locked in and they're like, I can't do anything because of that. But because of the way I play it, when I'm going down, I'm looking at keeping my share number the same. To me, it doesn't matter, especially with something like Bitcoin. It's like if if my shares lose 25% of their value, that's fine because they're going to go back up. I know this already. So I'm just playing that. I'm playing the number, and then whatever money I can sort of shimmy out of the side by, rebuying on the lower levels, as things fall. So anyway, just one of those neat little things. Whew. Boy, we've made a mess of this whiteboard, but that's fine. I don't mind. We'll change the color in case we have anything else to put in there. Yeah, so that's kind of the whole general idea with reverse DCAing, DCAing, playing the tops, using your DCA, or just as a general consensus with the way that you guys sort of handle things. All right, now you guys got any questions for me? I know I've been talking here just on and off and drawing and all of that fun stuff. It's actually funny. Like, I do not know how many people are here. And I think I mentioned this last month, because it doesn't give me a count. It just gives me a straight up 0. So there could be a lot of you guys here. There could be 3. There could be 3. I mean, I don't know, but that's the thing. This is mostly for the replay anyway. Anyway, I'll have a cup of coffee. So if you guys have any further questions, throw them at me, and we'll keep going if you guys got questions. That's good. And I don't do the whole Starbucks thing on here, only for the simple reason that I doubt they're channel members. That would be funny, though. That would be funny if they were channel members and didn't sponsor me. I would be very annoyed with them. I was going to play a game with you guys today, but unfortunately, here was the game I came up with. I was going to buy a membership for somebody, just a random membership, and then we'd play a game to see whether or not they showed up. The only problem was, because you can only gift memberships when you're in a live stream, but because this was a members only, it does not give me that option. So that's kind of crazy. Like, I'll show you guys. Let's go over here. There we are. So the only options I actually have here is super stickers and super chat. So, there's the super stickers. I like the super stickers. Now, they cost money, but it's just, where's that one with the coffee cup? There's that one I really like. This one here. I'll just pull this up here. I'll send it to myself. Why not? Only because I really, really like it. There we go. And that way there, I get to do my 3D coffee thing. Woo! Jonathan's asking, did Skiz ever get a membership? No, Skiz never got a membership. And here's the thing. I honestly think Skiz has it turned off. He claims he doesn't, but I gave away so many memberships that I don't think there were too many people who haven't been active in the chat who didn't get them. So he definitely, I definitely think, I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe he was just that unlucky, but I just don't know how. I mean, I was throwing memberships. I think Jordan threw out a few memberships as well. And was it Amanda? It might have been Amanda that threw out like 5 at one point. And we just couldn't hit them. We could not hit them. I don't know why. It's just one of those things that, but it was fun. In a sense, it was kind of neat because as we were doing that, all of those live streams, it was kind of like he was kind of like the MacGuffin. He became the MacGuffin of those live streams because it was basically, all about Skiz and whether Skiz would win. And I think people were very excited over that. So I might need a new MacGuffin. Those of you who saw the HPS.A deep dive today, you've probably seen we have a new model for Mr. Math. So less cartoony, a little bit more realistic. So we do have a model. Eventually, I really would love to get an animated Mr. Math because I think that would be a lot of fun. But so that was kind of cool. I was pretty happy with that. Um, on the jury front, by the way, so I did get a letter from my doctor. I don't know if it's good enough, but I sent it off to the sheriff. So hopefully I hear back tomorrow to see if I got excused from that attempt. Um, so we'll have to see. I honestly don't know. Like, I basically had asked her secretary to say, look, because because I'm on a diuretic, I shouldn't be able to go because I need to have access to the bathroom. That was my argument. And she just sent this thing saying, "Oh yeah, Candace has an appointment on this date. Please excuse her." That was all she did. I was like, "Oh, that's not great." So I'm not 100% sure. I may still have to go in and plead my case, but I'm hoping that the sheriff has mercy on me, and yeah, we can do it. Bismarck, he says, less cartoony, more George Clooney for Mr. Math. Yeah, it was kind of funny. Well, initially when I was trying to come up with the concept, it's kind of neat. Like I always kind of wanted it to be sort of like a superhero for math. So, it's he's closer now to the vision. But yeah, eventually it'll be great. Like once AI can make videos for me, I'm gonna try to. I will probably spend an entire evening trying to get AI to make a cartoon for Mr. Math. I'm convinced I'm gonna do it. So that's gonna be, I think, a lot of fun. But oh well. Enid says, let's see, this lesson is brilliant. Nobody's teaching this on YouTube. Um, Probably not. Probably not. Like, that's the thing. And that's kind of what I look at these here. Um, these channel member live streams. It's just a chance to be super casual, just go over anything, show you guys the little tips and tricks and things like that that we have along the way. So, that's gonna be kind of the neat thing. I thought about like taking some of the stuff that I talk about in these and putting them into regular videos. And I'm just like, well, you know how it is. It's one of these things that, it's like there has to be something special for you guys, opposed to everybody else. Not that I'm trying to say, like, I still want to give 100% to everybody. But you guys are the bigger supporters. You guys are like the power fans of the channel. So, and yeah, exactly. The most important people. This is the cool kids. The cool kids are here. So no, it is nice to be able to sort of do stuff like that. And that's one of those things, like when I ask you guys what you want me to do for this one, um, it's like put anything at all that you want, other than don't like say, oh, can you do a deep dive on this? I'm like, no, ask me to do that on the channel members choice video. Don't ask me to do it here, because this is your opportunity to get behind the scenes, to see stuff that you don't see in the normal videos. So that's the way I look at it. And we'll keep this up. Now, speaking of the channel members choice, I am going to start asking you guys pretty soon for some ideas for that one. Now, that is the one that everybody does see. So if if it's a deep dive you want on something, throw it out there, throw whatever. Or if it's a tutorial video, I don't care. Whatever you guys want. We'll get it done for you. That's the way I look at it. Here's the funny thing, just going back to the whole jury thing. I've already filmed Tuesday's video. So I'm way ahead of the ball on this one. Simply because I was like, well, normally on Monday, that's when I normally film and edit it and then get it out in the afternoon. So now it's filmed. I just have to edit it. So you'll still probably see it pretty darn early if I get out of the jury duty. I don't know if I do get out of jury duty, like I won't drop it before this week, only because I don't want it, I'd rather have this week and then, after this week's over, drop it Sunday night or something like that for you guys. So, we'll look at it that way. And yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, I'm still going to I think I'll edit it tomorrow anyway, just to get it done, whether or not they excuse me on Monday. So we'll see how that goes. And let's see here. Jackie says, we appreciate all the time, effort, and thought that you put into these great videos. Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like sometimes, like I do 45 minutes. Well, actually, it's about 47 minutes. And the reason for it being 47 minutes is I schedule myself for 45 minutes a day of aerobics. So I'm doing that downstairs, but my watch has this thing where it tells me how many kilometers I've done. And I like it to hit 4. So when my time is up, I usually need about a minute to 2 minutes to get to the 4. So I always do that. I just push it to the 4. But a lot of times when I'm doing that, that's sometimes I get ideas that pop into my head for videos, and I'm sort of thinking, okay, what can I do with that, and how is that there going? So, it's just one of those things. I think that's pretty fun. I will say though, the channel has been doing pretty good lately. So I have to say I'm pretty happy with this month. We've had a lot of videos do better than normal, and that is really, really good. So I can't wait to sort of see where this is all going to go. And I'm really looking forward to that 4,000 subs, because I want to do that really long live stream. Now, mind you, when I do that live stream, open to close, I will probably not talk another word the rest of that day. I'll sign off at the end, and I'll be like, nope, no more words from me today. I'll learn how to do sign language if I need something or something, but that'll be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that. So maybe if I get a video that goes crazy and pulls in a big, massive chunk, we can do that sooner than later. That's what I'd certainly like to see. But yeah, so far I've been happy with this year. This year's been moving good. January a little bit slower than I had hoped, but like I said, February's been doing pretty well. No, sorry, January was okay. February was slow. This month, March has been doing good again. So pretty darn happy with that. And I've also noticed as well, the AdSense values have started to come up a bit. So the way YouTube does it, hi, sorry, my watch is talking again. The way YouTube does it is you make the most in the fall. The fall is when you get the most for your AdSense, and then it goes down. You get paid less like in January and February. And I've just noticed that it's come back up again. So now, instead of like $2 to $3 a day, in AdSense, I'm getting like, $4 or $5 a day now in AdSense. So that's always a good thing. And of course, I think there's at least a couple of you that says, I watch it, your ads on purpose and go back and watch them again. I always find that funny. But yeah, I love Mr. Math too, Enid. I think that was just one of these things. And I don't even know where Mr. Math came from. I was just sort of rambling along as I was putting it together, as I was writing or scripting it. And I just sort of went, yeah, it'd be funny if I said something like, let's call on Mr. Math. And I was like, yeah, that'd be funny. Let's do it. So that's kind of how Mr. Math came to be. So it was just kind of one of those things. So yeah, we got we also, of course, we've got Hazel Nutterscotch as well, the squirrel. And now we've got our example guy who's coming up in the next video. So the RRSP meltdown video, we have our Mr. I call him John Q Banana. So I actually probably need to develop a graphic for him. So you'll get to meet John Q Banana on that one. So probably Sunday. So Sunday night when I drop that video for you guys. Then everybody else has to wait till Tuesday, so they don't get a break. But you guys are going to get a big break on that one. Anyway, this has been fun. So I'm gonna call it here, because I think we got through a good amount out here. And start thinking about what you want for the members' choice video. So remember, that goes to everybody, but think about what you want. I'll throw up a link probably this week before the week is out, asking you guys for suggestions, and then we'll do a poll as usual, and that way there you guys can vote on it, and we'll see what you guys have me doing this time. All right, everybody. Until then, take care. Thank you again for being channel members. You guys absolutely rock. It makes doing what I do a lot more fun, that's for sure. All right, everybody, take care. Bye.